Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Sneaky Snake and today I'm going to be going over my experience with military orders at the Krug. The Krug is a really big tournament held in Denver, Colorado. I believe there were 114 players overall. And yeah, I got to meet Carlos Bostria in person, so that was really cool. And I got to meet a bunch of guys from the Discord in person, so that was also really neat. Super excellent people, just really great to be able to talk to them and whatnot. And this was my first big tournament experience, like in person, and so that was also just like fantastic. Yeah, definitely worth like all the money and hassle to come out. It was just really cool. In this particular video, I'm going to be going over my two lists that I brought and then how MO played into each matchup and mission. I'm not going to be going over a bunch of details about how the rounds went, just so you guys don't get bored and to keep the video short. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, I've got my beautiful models. I painted these up for the Krug, and I ended up winning Best Painted Pano Army. So yay me. I don't really consider myself to be an amazing painter, so my guess is that I won just because I have such a unique scheme. But anyways, I'm really proud of my win. So yeah, it was really cool also to see like these beautifully painted models. There were a bunch of really talented painters that ended up coming out to the tournament, so really cool to see all that stuff. So up first here, I've got my list, my list one. This one is titled Boring MO plus Ultra because it is the quintessential boring MO list. It's basically a copy paste of the like standard MO list, if you will, from N4. It's got Dart, Teutonic, Harris, Core of Crosiers with the Blackfriar, Tik Blank, Trinitarian, KHD, Fugazi, Tech B, Warcore, and then Mulebot. So yeah, I hate this list. I'll just start off by saying that I just don't really enjoy this playstyle very much. And I played against one of my friends from Houston the day before the tournament started. There was like a little Beerfinity night, and I just wanted to get one round in to test this list out because I never played it before. Really smart, right? And so basically, yeah, he totally wrecked me. We were playing Firefight, and yeah, I just like I lost Dart and the Trinitarian, and he had a hacker, and I was like, well, I can't play the game anymore. Because basically I couldn't like move up my Teutonics. I think my Spitfire ended up getting like dying on active or something like that. And then like he had a long wing that my Tick Blank couldn't kill. It was just like this whole mess of stuff. And I don't really play lists like this that often. The only reason I wanted to bring it was so that I had a tag list in case like I was forced to go first. And like I don't know, I don't really know why I felt the need to have a tag list, but here you go. Anyway, I hated this list, and I was like, well, I'm basically down to playing only one list for the rest of the tournament. But fortunately, I really like my list too. I had never played this list either, but it's really similar to a lot of other lists that I played before. So yeah, we've got a Crux and a Harris team with the two Teutonics, and then I took the strategic deployment Crux because I don't have an HMG in this list. So I really wanted to make sure that like in the event that I have to go first or something, and I need like I don't want to get locked out of my deployment zone basically. So I took the strategic deployment Crux so that I could start 4 inches up and be able to like gunfight whoever I needed to in good bands. Um, Next, I had the Santiago duo. It's a classic. The Spitfire and the KHD, they just do a lot. They can do a bunch of classifieds, push buttons, all that jazz. The next thing is the Crosier core. This one is a little bit more spicy, I would say, than the normal Crosier core because it's got a multi sniper and then two Crosiers with the Blitzen. Basically, the objective of this core is to just stand everybody up, have them be supported by my Trinitarian multi snipers, and just let your opponent deal with all that. And it really worked out for me in like 4 of my 5 games. That core and the two Trinitarians just did work and like locked down the entire board. So yeah, I was really happy with that overall. The other thing I also really like is like if you're, they have to kill like three different models in order to totally strip your core of any sort of like, I don't know, like potential, if you will. Um, and so that was really nice. Like there's three guys there that they have to deal with before your core is like out of steam. So yeah, really liked that. And then yeah, obviously two Trinitarians, super great. They do their thing. And then Tech B Fugazi Warcar. So yeah, overall really fun list. Very much my kind of play style. And yeah, performed really well. So now I'm gonna go into the rounds. So round one, I played against White Banner, and it was B Pong. Um, I've played against White Banner a lot. I play against White Banner a lot in my local meta, and yeah, basically, uh, I find they're a really interesting faction to deal with. You can't hack them back like almost ever. Even with Deferson, you're oftentimes on like a -6 because of their tin bots, and so like you just yeah, they're just like impossible to hack into. You have to have some sort of like Uber hacker, like I don't know, like an anathematic or something, because like the thing is, a Knight of Santiago is gonna really struggle to get through like a Dokkaebi with the tin bot, and the fact that it's like 3 wounds essentially, uh, and yeah, it was a fun matchup. Basically, I just blocked my opponent out of the board by setting up all my Trinitarians and whatnot. So I really limited his access to the beacon in the middle, and then I used my knights to just like run up and throw EM grenades at stuff, push buttons, and steal the objective from my opponent. Um, this list played really well for Bpong because the Crux team is really fast, so they can kind of like run up and steal the Bpong and whatnot. And then he also is really good at defending himself because he has a burst 3 reaction weapon. And so, yeah, he's really hard to get through, um, and he can hold onto the beacon really easily. Also, like Santiago's and the Crux, with those three guys, you can do like almost every single objective in the game. Um, so yeah, really great list to do Pong with. So yeah, it was a really fun experience, and my opponent was awesome. Um, round two was a mirror match. Um, I think the MO mirror match is a really interesting thing because, yeah, it just really depends on what your opponent takes and it really depends on what you take. Um, I think my list was a pretty big counter to his because I play MO all the time. I know what MO's biggest weakness is. And yeah, the biggest weakness of MO is the fact that we really stink at dealing with mimetic like AROs. And so the fact that I had two Trinitarians was just really tough for my opponent. But yeah, basically, we were playing Unmasking, and I just like, honestly, the table was kind of interesting. The three consoles for Unmasking were all on top of like one bridge, so you could literally just like bing, 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 like hit all three of the consoles, and like in like a matter of like 3 orders. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, um, that's basically what I did. I just like revealed my opponent's stuff and killed his designated target and whatnot. And then I was able to just lock him out of the board with one of the Trinitarian snipers. So yeah, overall, really fun match. My opponent was really good. He just did from what he was telling me, I think he doesn't really play MO very often, but he's a really good player. So yeah, that was really fun. Um, and by the way, if like the lists look a little bit wonky, it's just because I'm going based off of memory. Um, but the general like big line troopers and whatnot, they're all in there. It's just the minute details I don't remember as much because you're just busy. So anyway, round three was firefight, and I was playing against the shot. Yeah, this was tough. I'd have to talk to a like hardcore Deshot player about this, but from my understanding, Firefight has to be like a really good matchup or a mission for Deshot because basically you have like all these super cheap guys who can literally just like run around and murder um, murder people, and they can like easily trade up, and then you like kill them, and you're like, oh yeah, I killed a 9 point Liberto, but it costs like nothing, and it barely contributes to firefight. So yeah, um, basically that's kind of how the whole like mission went. Um, I don't really play against the shot very often, so it's kind of hard for me to have like a bigger perspective on this. But the Ryushi pick was really big. He ended up using like McMurrow to smoke off a lot of my guys, and then the Ryushi to smoke shoot them. And he was basically able to just like run through my entire Crosier core and then shoot down a Trinitarian. So yeah, that was tough. Kind of like a counter pick, but I mean, obviously you don't know your opponent's list, but yeah, he was really able to capitalize on that MSV2. And then like Maggie also was kind of a pain. Like I couldn't really deal with her because he managed to kill my Crux early on in the matchup, and I just didn't really have any armor. I was able to kill her eventually by just shooting her down with like Trinitarians, so that was nice, I guess. But yeah, overall, basically like he ended up killing all my guys with McMurrow and the Ryushi, and then I was down to like my duo of Santiago's, which is like 60 points or something like that. So yeah, it was yeah, I ended up losing this one, which it is what it is. But honestly, I think Mo really needs like a dedicated firefight list if you want to be playing in firefight. Just because like you know we're a relatively slow faction, I would say, and if your opponent puts down repeaters, that can be hard to get through. So yeah, I think in the future I would have to like build lists specifically for firefight, but I'll talk about that later. Um, so next is round four. Played against White Banner again. Basically all the same stuff. You know, I play against White Banner all the time, so I know all their tricks. Um, and yeah, this mission was Supremacy. Um, I wanted well in Supremacy you want to go second because it's end of round scoring and whatnot. And so my opponent ended up winning the lieutenant role, but he chose to take deployment. And I was like, well, dude, I don't care. Like, I'm going to take second turn. Because the thing about this list and a lot of the lists that I play is that if you have two Trinitarian snipers, it doesn't really matter if you get counter deployed because your Trinitarian snipers are hidden. So your opponent has no idea where they are, and you can just use them to like shoot people all game. So yeah, uh, I got counter deployed, but it didn't really matter. Um, I was actually able to successfully guess where his Shang-Chi lieutenant was going to be placed, and so I had placed a Trinitarian sniper there, so that if he ever tried to move it, I could just pop out and like shoot his lieutenant on, and his lieutenant, which was the Shang-Chi, would be on like a -12 against that. So yeah, really fun. Um, yeah, overall, just like a really good matchup. It was against a guy from Dallas, so I play against him pretty frequently, and he's a good player. But I was able to push more buttons than him, and then tie on objectives and most of the time. So yeah, overall, really fun experience, and I think Mo plays um, Supremacy really well, especially if you're taking like two heavy infantry fire teams. You can kind of just move them up into like your zone. You can use the Trinitarians to like auto capture your own zones as well, and that's what I was doing with my Trinitarians. And then I would just use my heavy infantry teams to like push up into my opponent's zones and capture those from him. So I ended up skirting out a win 6-5. Um, my tech it was really funny. My tech beat pushed one button for me, and my war core pushed the other one. So like my really cheap specialists were out here doing work. So yeah, really fun. My last round, round five, this was against Vanilla Combined Army, and it was for the mission procurement, I think, um, or maybe requisition. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a new mission, and it's basically like basketball and supplies combined into one mission. So it has like a really weird deployment where you deploy on the corners and then it's like a circle around that corner uh, within 24 inches. Um, so yeah, my opponent won the lieutenant role, obviously whip 16, all that jazz, and he decided to go first. Um, but I got to counter deploy, and there was this massive, huge tower in one of my corners, and so I was literally able to deploy the two Trinitarians and all three of the Crociers up on that tower, so that they were able to see all three objectives, and yeah, it was great. I locked my opponent out of the game basically the entire time. Like he just couldn't do anything against it because like the speculo was not able to get up on top of the tower. He couldn't drop Ducash into my back arc because I was watching it with everything. And what else? Yeah, and then Tusser was being watched by like five different AROs, so he couldn't really use Tusser either. So I was really able to capitalize on that like big sniper tower. Um, and then yeah, overall, it was a really fun matchup. I was playing against a guy from Houston who I'd played before, and he was super cool, super nice guy. Um, Basically, I guess the only highlight was like I just ran up my Crux. I was able to kill Tusser, and then I used my two tonics to grab a box and dump it into the zone. So I basically was already winning on the first turn, and it was about keeping my opponent from being able to win. So I just ended up killing all of his specialists so that he couldn't push the buttons anymore. Oh yeah, and then the Crux also killed Agent Ducash in reactive, which is like really funny. So yeah, my opponent got a little bit unlucky, but yeah, overall it was really fun. Really fun experience. And I don't like playing against Vanilla Combined because they're able to do a lot of stuff that I can't, and it's really hard to answer a lot of the questions they give you. But I ended up skirting out a win, so I was happy about that. I accidentally put my opponent into retreat, and I wasn't able to score as many objective points as I would have liked. But hey, that's just how the game goes sometimes. So here are the results. As you can see, Sectator, who's a cutter, I think, on Discord, he managed to get second with Vanilla Pano, so heck yeah. And then my brother McJevons got 10th with Vanilla Pano as well. And then I got 15th with MO, and Hackney got 17th with Kestrel. So, hey, not bad. That's four Pano players in the top 17, so we'll take it. Yeah, and there's 114 players, 5 rounds, all that jazz. So, really fun. So just some final thoughts on MO. The Crux is really excellent. Just honestly, always an amazing pick. I think I've kind of just found that his best core or fire team is the one with like the two Teutonics. Just because they're really cheap. He kind of acts as like a delivery system. They give him +1 special dice, and you can just use him to like push buttons and then run up Teutonics into your opponent's like squishy pieces and kill them with CC and whatnot. The double Trinitarian is super oppressive on open tables. It's just a massive gear check. Like if your opponent doesn't have an MSV2 sniper, it's gonna be a hard time. The Knight Commander has really just become my normal lieutenant. It's a little sad, honestly, because MO has a lot of really great lieutenant options. It's just that we just don't really have chain of command. Technically, the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre is a chain of command, but okay. Yeah, I just like basically only take the Knight Commander these days because yeah, going into loss is really punishing with MO because you don't really have that many extra orders to begin with. Yeah, what else? N4. Yeah, so the N4 MO playstyle is so dead in my opinion. Like, I just hate like the really crunchy. Like, I only have like 3 units that can actually do stuff, and everybody else is useless. I hate it. So I'm never playing that way again. It's just not my playstyle. So yeah. Kind of on that same note, tags are really hard to fit in and use in MO. I've just found that like if I'm taking a tag, it usually means that the rest of my list is gonna be made up of like normies that can't really do anything. And so, yeah, for that reason, I just don't really know that I'm going to be taking tags in MO anymore. Um, I like both of the MO tags. It's just like we just don't have that much cheap stuff that's able to also do things. Um, yeah, it's basically just like Teutonics. So, yeah. Anyway, I mean, Dart is really good, but yeah. I also think that MO really needs like a dedicated firefight list. That's like a big thing that I walked away learning was like I can't rely on like my more general MO list to play in firefight just because like MO is relatively slow. You can get DZ locked sometimes, and you need somebody who can get up to your opponent's deployment zone super fast and kill stuff. I think in the future, if I was gonna play like a firefight mission, I would probably take uh, two Knight of Santiago jumpers, just because they're heavy infantry who can really really do a lot of damage. Um, and yeah, I think the only issue I have with them is the fact that they're automatically specialists, so they're probably gonna die, which means your opponent's probably gonna get like 70 points and two specialists off of them. So you have to be careful and make sure you're really getting a lot of value out of them. But other than that, they are really phenomenal units, and I think I'm gonna start making some firefight lists after this. Um, Hacking is still really hard to deal with. 3 out of my 5 games, I had to deal with pitchers, and it was just really annoying. But it wasn't too bad. It was just kind of like anytime I was getting hacked, I'm like, okay, now I have to spend like 4 orders shoving up my Tech B to deactivate all these pitchers. And then the Tech B is obviously going to get spotlighted and guided, so, bye bye Tech B. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like super impressive, but it was annoying. I think the only time where I was like, oh, really? Was like my opponent, the vanilla combined player, he was able to just pitch like from all the way across the board. Like he just shot his pitcher, and then he came out of camouflage with the anathematic and just one shot my Santiago KHD. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean the anathematic is a really good hacker or whatever, but it's just like really annoying because my opponent spent 2 turns to kill like 31 points off the board and like a really good specialist and stuff. So it was just annoying. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Um, yeah, and then finally, Warcore OP, he managed to like basically win me supremacy because he ran up and pushed a button and then got like mauled by a Taiga creature. Or what is that thing? The QAZ creature. Yeah, he got killed by the QAZ creature, so he sacrificed his life from MO. But yeah, it was really fun overall. I'm starting to see a lot more uh, clearly like the strengths and weaknesses of MO. And I'm starting to kind of figure out which missions are very like MO needs to build for these type missions. But overall, yeah, super awesome experience. And I was really glad that I was able to play and I was able to play this really well. So I was really excited about that. But that's all I really have for y'all today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.